All right, guys, do I have any sandalwood fragrance lovers out there? If you love sandalwood, then you're going to want to make sure as you tune in to this video because I have 13, lucky number 13, amazing sandalwood fragrances. Let's talk about it. What's good, YouTube? I'm the BowTie Fragrance Guy. On this channel, we focus primarily on fragrances, but I think it's very important, very, very vitally important that I also talk about grooming on this channel, as well as throwing some style tips here and there as well. Because at the end of the day, man, when you go outside and you look great and you smell great, you're winning at the end of the day. Don't forget to enable notifications as well. So anytime a new video is uploaded on this channel, you get notified. On today's video, guys, I'm going to be talking about the note of sandalwood. Now, there are many fragrances. I would probably say almost 60, 70% of fragrances that are created that probably have sandalwood listed as a note. But the fragrances I want to talk about today are centered around the note of sandalwood. I mean, you primarily smell sandalwood in a lot of these fragrances. So sandalwood is the main character in these scent profiles. I have 13 fragrances, like I said, again, that represent the note the best to me. And like I said, it's not just a note that's listed in the note breakdown. It is the note that, is the fragrance is comprised around. I have 13 that I think you guys would really love if you are a fan of the note of sandalwood. So I'm going to run the intro, and when we come back, we want to get into it, man. So if you want to see what's on the list, you know the routine. Keep it locked right here. Let's get it.
The BowTie Fragrance Guy.
All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. We're going to jump right into this video really quickly. Always remember, I try to link as many of these as I can to the video. So if you are interested in picking one of these up for yourself, if you click on products down there in the corner, then as many of these as I can find through YouTube shopping, I try to link them. And a lot of times they're from discounters a lot of the times. So I'll try to link them to the video. Now, this first fragrance, and all of these kind of have sandalwood as the main note, but they have obviously different supporting notes that really help them to kind of stand out in the collection. And this first one is from the brand of Royal Crown. I love this one, man. This one is called Oud Santal. Oud Santal. This is sandalwood, iris, vanilla, and oud. Now, this particular fragrance, I would say the main player outside of the sandalwood, of course, I listed the notes here, is going to be the vanilla in this fragrance. Not so much the oud. There's a little bit of oud in the background, but I don't pick it up. It's not like really, I would say, a primary note. A lot of these fragrances, guys, that you see that have sandalwood as the main note, of course, it's easy to tell a lot of times because that is centered around that note because of the fragrance name, Oud Santal. You have Santal, sometimes even Sandal or something along those lines that kind of give you an indicator that the fragrance is centered around note of sandalwood. And I absolutely love this one. Like I said, it's a vanilla and primarily sandalwood based fragrance with a little bit of that powdery iris there. That's why I listed that as a main note. But this one is fantastic, man. The longevity is really, really good on this fragrance, which is something else that I really love about it. But if you love a fragrance that has a sandalwood vanilla combination, I think you will really, really enjoy this one. So this is definitely one of the top 13 in the collection. There's a few that are centered around sandalwood that I didn't put on the list, but this is definitely one that I thought was worthy from the brand of Royal Crown. You know, so it's called Oud Santal. All right, guys, sandalwood is a note that's can have two different facets to it. I would say more woody. And then you have those sandalwood fragrances that are more creamy and provide that creamy, kind of milky kind of vibe to fragrances. Those are the ones that I probably gravitate towards more so than the others. Like I have a fragrance from Parfum Aroma called Santalum. That is different from anything else on this list. It's not on this list because it's a very, very niche and I would say those fragrances that are more on the artistic side of fragrances. That wouldn't be for probably the masses, but that's more of a woody kind of sandalwood. Most of these I have on this list are more of that, like I said, that creamier variety. And this next fragrance comes from the brand of Diptyque, and this is called Tam Dao. And this, of course, is sandalwood, rose, cedarwood, and amber. A lot of these fragrances I've noticed, a cedarwood is a note that pairs well with sandalwood. There's so many fragrances I can think of off the top of my head that has that sandalwood, cedarwood combination on dry down. They just really pair well together. And this is a fragrance where they really pair well together. A Tam Dao, I think this fragrance has been around for a while, and I think in the minds of most people that really appreciate the note of sandalwood, this would probably be one that they would list as one of their favorites. It's amazing, and I love the fact that it also has, as it starts to dry down, a beautiful presence and a very significant presence of rose on the dry down. Absolutely love this stuff from the brand of Diptyque. Another amazing sandalwood fragrance. This is called Tam Dao. Guys, this next fragrance, I knew I had to have this one when I read the note breakdown. For a while in my fragrance journey, sandalwood was probably my favorite note. Now you guys know that I was running a series last year where I talked about my top 6 notes, where sandalwood now is right on the outside of those top 6. If I had a 7th favorite note, it would be sandalwood. But for a while, it was my favorite note, and it was during that time that I actually picked up this fragrance. So definitely a unique take on sandalwood compared to speaking to the other fragrances on the list. And I'm talking about this one from the brand of Fragrance du Bois, Santal Complete. Santal Complete. This is sandalwood, of course, coconut, violet, and a amber, like a vanilla ambery presence on the dry down. And what makes this one kind of stand out, of course, from the other fragrances on the list is that coconut note. It works. It really, really works here. Honestly, coconut is one of those notes where, of course, it's tropical, but there is kind of, to me, a slight creamy nature to coconut as well. So I think that is why the sandalwood works so good with the coconut here, because they both have a creamy scent profile, the way it's used in this fragrance. And I think that really works. And again, that makes this one kind of unique from a lot of other sandalwood fragrances on the list. But like I said, all of these fragrances, sandalwood is the main note in all of these compositions. And I love this one from Fragrance du Bois. So check it out. If you want a sandalwood fragrance with a slight bit of a tropical kind of presence, check out Santal Complete from Fragrance du Bois. It's really good. All right, guys, this next fragrance is one that I've gotten into the collection here within the last month and a half or so, and I'm really impressed by this one. It represents the note of sandalwood amazingly. And this fragrance is from the brand of Affinessence, and this is called Santal Basmati. This stuff is really good. Really good sandalwood fragrance. You have sandalwood, you have this like basmati rice accord with iris and patchouli. And of course, that unique factor comes in from that basmati rice thing. It kind of gives this warm, kind of buttery presence, feel to this fragrance. And of course, that works perfectly with sandalwood. The sandalwood here, very, very creamy and rich. Like I said, that basmati rice accord, of course, is really warm, almost buttery accord in the fragrance as it really starts to dry down. This stuff is fantastic. Iris here, perfect as well, because it gives this powdery overtone to the fragrance. This is an amazing sandalwood fragrance, guys. If you like high quality sandalwood, I really, really highly recommend this fragrance. It's really good from Affinessence. Again, this is called Santal Basmati. Definitely one you need to get your nose on. All right, guys, this next fragrance is one I've talked about and said this is one of the best things I've ever smelled. I still stand by that. Another very unique take on the note of sandalwood. While sandalwood is the main player, there's a note in here that you don't typically see combined with the sandalwood to make this a unique scent profile. And I'm talking about from Carolina Herrera. This is Sandal Ruby. Sandal Ruby. This is sandalwood, cinnamon, tuberose, and patchouli. Wow, that's all I can say. Wow. Now, I'm not the hugest fan of tuberose. I'll probably say there are 5 fragrances that have tuberose as a guy where I still love it and I can rock it. Carnal Flower. You have this fragrance. You have a few by BowTie Victorious from their Zodiac collection. I think it's Ambraxis is one. And Golden Aries is another one that comes to my mind. Just a few that have tuberose that I love and can rock as a guy. This is another one. Amazing blend of sandalwood, tuberose, and like I said, two notes that I really, really enjoy as well. Cinnamon, of course, patchouli on the dry down. So it's not a feminine fragrance. And that's crazy because there is a very, I would say, a heavy presence of tuberose, but it's balanced so well by the sandalwood and, of course, the spice of cinnamon. And, of course, that dry down. You get a kind of earthy patchouli. This is amazing, man. You just got to get your nose on this stuff, seriously. You got to get your nose on it. This is probably going to be my center today. I love this one from Carolina Herrera. Like I said, this whole collection to me is kind of underrated, this confidential collection. But this is one of my favorites from the entire range. It's an amazing representation of sandalwood. Check out Sandal Ruby. This stuff is good. All right, guys, this next fragrance is one from the brand of Bond Number 9. And this is called Bond Number 9 New York Sandalwood. Bond Number 9 New York Sandalwood. This is sandalwood, of course. You have carrot, orris root, fig, and a note of papyrus as some of the main notes. Guys, this stuff is fan-flipping-tastic. Another one that I think is probably discontinued, if I'm not mistaken. But you can find this on discounters. You can find this a lot of times on, definitely on eBay and places like that for a decent price, where they're not trying to rip you off, but overprice it, in my opinion. This is really good. Now, I love this one because this has this kind of earthiness here. You have earthy, powdery, earthy and powdery. Those would be the two accords I would say I would associate with this, and a little bit smoky from the papyrus. The other accords in this sandalwood fragrance. So the carrot is kind of gives this powderiness to it. Orris is earthy here. And then, of course, again, you have this papyrus note as it dries down as well that really gives this slight kind of smokiness to this fragrance. Very, very unique, kind of dry, earthy, powdery sandalwood fragrance, and it really works. Definitely unique scent profile comparatively speaking to the rest of the fragrances on the list, but it's one that I really, really gravitated towards. Again, this one I would put on that a little bit more on that artistry side of fragrances as well, but not overly complex where people couldn't really, the masses couldn't enjoy it, if that makes sense. But I love this one from Bond Number 9. It is really, really good. Very well done fragrance. And this is Bond Number 9 New York Sandalwood from the Notes collection. This is fantastic. All right, guys, I didn't kind of like hardcore put these in order, but I kind of did, especially when I got to like the top 6. But this next fragrance is one that everybody knows, so I had to make sure I put it on here. I do like it. Santal 33 from Le Labo. Sandalwood, of course, another one that has papyrus, cedarwood, and cardamom. So there you see it again, the sandalwood, cedarwood combination here. Like I said, this is probably the most popular sandalwood-based fragrance. But I will tell you something. This one probably is one of the better performers. I mean, this thing performs and projects all day. But most people do know about this one. And I do think that it deserves to be on a list if you're talking about a note of sandalwood, not just because it's popular, because it is a good fragrance at the end of the day if you like sandalwood. So check it out from Le Labo, Santal 33. All right, guys. Now, these top 6 are really, really my favorites. For different reasons, man. And this next one, man, man, I love this. It was discontinued for a while and they brought it back. It's from the Christian Dior La Collection Privé collection. And this is Santal Noir. Wow. This is so good, man. Sandalwood. Here, of course, you're going to get rose, ambrette. And I do pick up some saffron in this. I mean, I don't really list saffron as a note, but there's this kind of leathery, slight leathery smokiness to this fragrance. To me, it really is reminiscent of saffron, so I'm pretty sure that's what that is. But guys, this is an amazing sandalwood, rose, and saffron fragrance. That's really what this is. Absolutely fantastic. It kind of almost has this Middle Eastern kind of feel to it, but not like animalic in any kind of way. Just really, really smooth. A gentlemanly sandalwood fragrance, man. This stuff is amazing. Like I said, these top 6 were really kind of thought out as far as kind of in some way, shape, or form kind of ranking these, and I love this stuff. So it is readily available now. I don't know if they've changed the formulation at all, but this is one of the older formulations. It's really good. From the La Collection Privé of Christian Dior. Again, this one is called Santal Noir. All right, guys, I love this fragrance, next fragrance, because it gives me a sandalwood with a kind of gourmand twist. This is from the brand of Matiere Premier, and this is called Santal Austral. This is fantastic. Sandalwood, iris, tonka, and benzoin. Man, sandalwood and tonka bean. Those are the main notes in this fragrance. So it's creamy. It is sweet. And again, it gives gourmand type vibes. I don't think it's actually classified as a gourmand, but it kind of smells gourmand because it's really sweet, creamy fragrance. Like I said, sandalwood, tonka, and then you have, really like a ambery vanilla dry down. Amazing stuff. Definitely one that I love, and that's why it's in my top 5. Absolutely love this stuff. I had a sample of it, I think, from Lucky Scent, and I was trying it out, and it was one that I set to the side immediately and said, one day I got to get a bottle of this, and I was able to pick one up, and I absolutely love it, man. So check it out. Again, it's from the brand of Matiere Premier, and this is called Santal Austral. All right, guys, this next sandalwood fragrance is one that's near and dear to my heart. Probably one of the fragrances that kind of made sandalwood one of my favorite notes when I kind of really started getting into this thing. It's from the brand of Creed, Original Santal. Original Santal, sandalwood, juniper berries, tonka bean, and cinnamon are some of the main notes. Guys, I don't have to go on and on about this fragrance. You know how special it is to me. If you've been following my channel for any amount of time, like I said, this was one of the first Creeds that I ever got, and it was, like I said, this fragrance really got me into exploring the note of sandalwood. Original Santal, this particular batch I have is from 2015. And again, the story was, at least at that time, that they were using Mysore sandalwood. I don't know. But whatever it is, I love this fragrance. Love this fragrance. I think it has lavender in here as well. So it is a very, very, very easy to wear, like, signature scent for anybody. This could be anybody's signature scent, and I think this would work. I just love this stuff, man. I love what it means to me. I love the bottle. I love the fragrance. I love everything. Original Santal from Creed. All right, guys. I don't really think it's fair for a fragrance to be this good, but well, whatever. We just got to go with what we got to go with, man. This one is from the Chanel Less Exclusive line, and this is called Bois des Iles. Bois des Iles. This is sandalwood, aldehydes, peach, iris, and amber. Man, I can't tell you how good this is. I cannot tell you how good this is. Sandalwood is a star player, but man, those beautiful soapy aldehydes up top, like I said, it has aldehydes and peach. The opening of this kind of reminds me of, in a way, but it's a little bit more aldehydic, but the peach here reminds me of the peach note in Diaghilev from Rosia. That's what the peach in here, that fresh opening with the aldehydes and the peach, gives me Diaghilev vibes in the opening. But you get the sandalwood straight away as well. But this is just a clean take on a note of sandalwood. The sandalwood is still being sandalwood here, but the aldehydes, the peach, and the other notes I named here as well just really, really give this a unique take on the note of sandalwood that I personally, of course, love. And it's from the Chanel Less Exclusive collection, and I think that you guys should check this one out, man. It is Bois des Iles from Chanel. Man, next level. All right, guys, this next fragrance is one that comes from the brand of Serge Lutens, and this is called Santal Majuscule. Man, sandalwood, rose, and cacao. I gotta give myself a spray on the wrist here. Just check it out, man. You guys know I love rose. The cacao is more like a powdery. It's a powdery, kind of chocolatey thing going on here. Not like an overly sweet like chocolate, but cacao is more powdery, which I love that here with the rose and the, of course, the sandalwood. Wow. Serge Lutens, to me, is a very underrated brand. I mean, they're not super expensive. A lot of their fragrances, especially on discounts, you can find for under $100 for a 3.4 ounce or just over 100. But they have some amazing fragrances in their portfolio, man. Seriously, very well done fragrance. Again, very great representation of sandalwood. Like I say, sandalwood, you got that cacao and rose here. That's why it's so high up on the list, you know? Like I said, I didn't really rank them, but I kind of did in a way. And this is high on the list for a reason. Check it out from Serge Lutens. Santal Magic School is amazing. And last but not least, I would say the number one spot, my favorite sandalwood fragrance, man. From the brand of Kilian, Sacred Wood. Sacred Wood. Sacred Wood. Sandalwood, carrot seeds, iris, and cedarwood. If you haven't been paying attention, you see a lot of the same notes listed as main notes in a lot of these fragrances. You've seen a lot of fragrances that have iris. You've seen quite a few fragrances that have a note of carrot, and you don't normally see that, but carrot is powdery. Carrot is powdery. And those powdery notes, carrot, iris, and cedarwood go well with sandalwood. So that is something that if you paid attention, you kind of seen that several times on this list. But anyway, my favorite sandalwood fragrance is Sacred Wood. Wow, guys, I told the story. This was a few years ago now. But this bottle is from the Asian Tales collection of Kilian. Now, mine has red inscription there etched in on the bottle. Now, you can find this fragrance in a different presentation now. At the time I got this, it was discontinued and really hard to find. This was sent to me from overseas. It took literally a month to get it. But it was a pleasant experience, man. The lady that sold it to me, I can't think of her name right now off the top of my head, but we had to be in communication about it because it was such a kind of, long and drawn out process for me to get it. And one of the things that's special to me that has nothing to do with fragrances is the fact that we became friends on Facebook, and she always told me how beautiful my mother was. And that's something that helped kind of create a memory that has absolutely nothing to do with the fragrance itself for me with this fragrance. But that's kind of an aside. The process and experience to get this fragrance into my possession, the scent profile itself, one of the best representations of the note of sandalwood in my entire collection. That's why it's number one. But man, this fragrance definitely has a special place in my heart. I love it. The best sandalwood fragrance in my collection, Sacred Wood by Kilian. The fragrance is phenomenal. But that is it, guys. That is my time. I hope you enjoyed this video today. I gave you 13 amazing sandalwood-based fragrances. What are some other amazing sandalwood fragrances out there on the market that you have in your collection that I may not have talked about on this list? Seriously, I would love to hear from you down in the comment section. Now, as always, I sincerely appreciate you guys' time and your attention to these videos. You don't have to watch, but you guys do, and I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to take a few moments to like, comment, and subscribe. Please make sure you're sharing these videos out to some other folks out there that you think could use the information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, Darren. I'm the BowTie fragrance guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell fantastic. So until next time, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.